think I have to build an AI travel app. It should take my destination, my travel dates, my budget, and what are the things which I want to do. And based on that, it should generate some travel plan for me based on like how many days I am going to, and day by day, what should I do, right? Sounds interesting, right? And we need AI for that. But the important part, or maybe the difficult part, is that I have to do it in just 45 minutes. Can I do it? That's the question. So I would just like to tell you, yes, we can do it. If you are interested, then let's watch that how I am able to do it in just 45 minutes. I'm sure you will love it. If you like it, make sure to subscribe the channel and like the video right now, and comment down what are your thoughts about it. Let's get started. We have to do is we have to go to FlutterFlow. So either you can search on Google or you can directly go to their website, which is flutterflow.io. And once you click on it, we go to this landing screen where we see that what are the features which it provides, and docs or whatever you want to see. We can see FlutterFlow 4.0 is live. So if you are an existing user, you can sign in. If you are a new user, you can start for free. So that's what I'm gonna do. So right now I have an existing account, so let's do that. Otherwise you can start for free as well. It's totally free to use, and there are some features for which you have to pay, but if for a starter, I mean for this project also, you can get it done for free. Okay, so it looks cool. Let me just sign in, and once I sign in, it will use my existing account and it will bring me to dashboard. Now we see we have organization, marketplace, resources. So right now we have two options. We can start a new project from scratch, or we can take the advantage of this marketplace. So let's open this marketplace. So this marketplace is nothing but it's just that it has a lot of templates available. Some of them are free as well. Most of them are free, in fact, and there are some paid as well. What I want is that I want to use some AI sort of application, right? I want to make an AI app. So let me just search here AI. Okay, so you can explore all of it, but what I want is I have to submit my travel details, right? So I need a prompter. So I can see there is a template here which is ChatGPT industry prompter app, right? And I can see some of the screenshot of the UI that it will have some details to fill. I need something like that, not exactly this, but this is the closest one from here because I already have this template. So you can click on it and you can view it live. You can add it as a new. So what I'm gonna do is like I am gonna add it as a new, and I already have this template though, but it will create another copy for me, and then I can create a project using it. So it's that simple. Now it will take some time and it will create the project for me. It will ask for the project name, and I can name it, let's say, AI travel app, and then I'll create the project. It's as simple as that. So our project is ready in like less than a minute probably. And now what we see over here, I'll try to explain you one by one what are all these things, so please be with me. So right now what you see on the screen is one of the UIs of one of the pages. So let's go and check what's all there, right? So first button over here is plus button, something similar to that, and these are all the elements which it provides, like all the widgets and all, right? And then on the top we can see the components, we have the templates again, and all those things we can select from here. But we will go to the Flutter one, and we can select some widget if needed. Second option is basically it gives you a widget tree where you have all these widgets like how you see in your VS Code in the Flutter inspector or Flutter outline. It's very much similar to that, and this is pretty cool. And the third one is all the pages. So right now we have two pages, one is GPT flow and one is start page. So this is our start page, which is basically all the necessary details would be there. And then at the end we have a storyboard in this section. It's still in beta, but it is more like you have basically the connections, that how the flow is happening. So as we can see that this is the first screen and some action happens here, and then it goes to the second screen, which is pretty good. Then you can connect with Firebase, you can have data types, you can have app state variables, you can also do API calls. One of the API calls is already defined, which is for OpenAI, which we are going to need because this is what will do our AI operations. And then you can also add assets, some of them is already there. And then you can write your custom code, custom widgets, all of these things which we'll see. And then we have cloud functions. We can also have tests here, and we can change the theme. A lot of the options are there. And at the end we have settings where we can, like we can set up Firebase, permissions, authentication. We can also do in-app purchase and subscription like Stripe, Razorpay, and we can do the integrations like Supabase, GitHub, Google Maps, AdMob, and all those things. So almost every important thing is there. So let's go back with our first page, which is the start page. Okay, so let me do some changes over here, and with the time you will understand that how things are working. Now the time which I'm taking in doing that is because I am also making you understand that what I'm doing, but for you it can be even faster, right? So first of all, we don't need a marketing plan, so we will just change the text from here. So travel details. Okay, so travel details is like fill the information below in order to help us better understand your situation. We can change it to, let's say, travel plans. Okay, this is as simple as that. Then we have your title. We can change it. Let's see, where is your title over here? And I think it's here in the hint text, because this is the hint. And I can change it like enter destination where you want to go. Okay, so this looks nice. When you click on enter destination, right, we see here the name is title over here. We can change it to, let's say, destination. Okay, so this will be the name of the text field. We will use it to identify that this is the same thing which we are talking about here. And here we have demographic and lot of things. So first of all, what I need is I want to have a start day and end day. So I'll use this two text and I'll change some of the things here. So hint text is basically your industry. I'll say, let's say, start date. So this is basically your travel start date, right? And the second one we can just say, or we can say end date. Okay, and in the start date what we can do is we can change the text field name and we can call it start day. Okay, so and date. Okay, so we have these things ready. So start date and day. And now the thing is, also we can write here, enter the dates for your travel. So this is just a text, we don't need it. So let's leave it like this. Now it's very difficult for someone to enter the date, right? Rather we can choose a calendar or something like that which can help us, right? So I'll go in the widget section. Here we can search for calendar and I can see a calendar. So I can just drag and drop, like one I can do on the top of start date, and then another one I can drop on the top of end date, right? And then what I want is I want to have some sort of padding, so I'll add a padding of 16 over here. So you can see here, there we can add 16 so that they have some sort of gap, right? So for this okay, this is looking fine for now, but this calendar is huge, right? I don't want to do that. So, and the colors are also looking not so good. So what I'm gonna do is I'll go to this, I'll select this calendar, I'll go here and I can color change the color also. So I'll click here and I'll choose a little lighter color. Okay, so this color is fine. I think if we will use like light mode, then it will be even better, but let's stick to the dark mode. And the same thing we can do for this, but let's fix this first one. And there are few more changes which I want to do. So for example, you can see we have a lot of options here. Then we can enable week view, which will look much better because it will not take that much space. So this is looking nice. And the start week on Monday, because our week starts with Monday here in India. And then we can do the same thing with this calendar. So I'll change the primary color. You can just copy it from the top also, that's totally fine. But for right now, because I'm trying to do it very faster, so that's why I'm doing it right now. Okay, so these two things are fine. And this start date, like this should not be editable, because once you select it from here, it should be there, right? So what I'm gonna do is I can go to this start date and I'll check for property which is read only. So I'll explore and I can see if it's a read only, and I can check it, right? And for the end date also we can do the same thing, we can make it read only. Okay, so maybe we can just say that specify your budget for the travel. Okay, so specify your budget for the travel, and then this one, this is first of all taking maximum lines as 5. I just want it to be 1, and minimum lines is also 1. So now it will take this much space, and then in the hint text where we are saying short description, I can just say 500. Okay, one more thing I want to fix it. The budget should be in USD or INR, whatever you want to specify. So I'll go back here, and for budget, in spaces I can just write, like in the brackets I can write in USD. Okay, and we have given some sample like 500, right? So this is looking good. Demographic I don't think we want, so we can just remove it. We can also remove this thing, which is, I think these are some of the things which we don't want. Fine, I think I just want to delete this one. And then for tone of voice, I would rather call it, let's say, interests. Like what kind of things you would like to do, interests slash activities, right? Something like this, maybe. Okay, this makes more sense to me. And please select all all kind of activities you want to do. Okay, this looks nice to me. And now we can specify some of these, like for example, we can see we have 3 options here. Like friendly, I'll change it to, let's say, adventure. Second, I'll change it to, let's say, shopping. Third one, let's say we can say cuisine, right? We can add more, let's say we can say nature. So right now we have, let's say, 4 options. And also what we want to do, initial option we can select as shopping, because by default everyone wants to do shopping wherever they go. Let's assume that. And also we want it to be multi-select, so that you can select multiple options, right? And I think that's pretty good. And then we have generate plan, which is perfect, I guess. Or I can rename it. I can just say generate travel plan. Okay, or maybe just change the T as caps. Okay, we have to change one more thing. For the budget also, we have to change the name from short description to, let's say, budget, and this should be fine. And for interest, we can go here, and tone of voice we can change it to let's say interests. Okay, so this is fine. Based on this information we want to do something, right? And with this image also we can change, I guess, right? Because this image is not something which I would want. We can change it. So right now it's using an asset image. Okay, let's go to, and here we can select some travel image, a Taj Mahal. All right, this looks very nice. I'll click on this picture, I'll open the image in new tab, I'll copy the URL, I'll come back, and I'll change the image type to network from here. And I'll also provide the path, and I'll press enter, and it should, oh, this is looking fantastic. This is the phone, this is more like, I think, tablet, and then this is like web. Okay, this is perfectly looking fine. Now we have this first screen ready almost, and now we can work on our second screen, and then we will do the sort of integration of all those things. Okay, so second screen, if we go back, we have a GPT flow, which is more like a chat application. I don't want it. Okay, so what I can do, I can delete this page. This page is definitely not of my need, but rather I would want a travel page where all my information are shown, which is generated by the AI. So what I can do is I can create a new page, or I can choose, okay, let's create a new page. And we can also search from all these templates. What do you think? What template we can use? Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to select that particular theme. Okay, this one, and use as my theme. Okay, I can name it, let's say, travel page, maybe. And then we get this travel page, which is looking pretty good. So what all informations we have an image over here. So let's see the widget. So this is the travel page. We have a background image which we can change, and we can again use our source, which is the Unsplash Taj Mahal one, which looks pretty nice to me. And then we have personal coaching session. We can rename it. We can name it, let's say, destination again. Okay, and then we can also change the text over here. Let's change it to something else. Destination. Okay, something like this. And then we have the budget, which is fine for now. We can just rename it as budget. Okay, and then we have some description of it, which we want for sure. So let's remove this thing from here. We can remove this as well. We can remove this as well. And then we have all this information which we are going to use, and we can remove this as well. We can have a similar kind of thing. We can have a text below it which will be used for, let's say, the travel dates. So I can just say date, and for example we can say like 29th November to 3rd December. Okay, something like this. Okay, and then this is looking fine. Okay, so we have the second page ready as well, and let me just change this as well, the plan. Okay, so I'll just name it plan, and we have some random data anyway, so it does not matter. Okay, so we have two pages. One is start page, one is travel page. I'll push it here, and this is like, if we go to storyboard, these pages are not connected with each other, sort of, so we have to connect them. We have 3 errors right now. Let's just see. Okay, this is some action which we have, which we are not doing anything, I guess. So let's delete this. So we have deleted that. Let's see 2 more errors. Some widget configuration is required. Initially selected friendly, we changed it, right? We changed it to shopping. I think that should be fine. Okay, now the error is gone, and custom function needs to be checked for errors. Click here to check. Okay, let's do that. I mean, it's checking. I think it's pretty good. All right guys, so this is our start page and this is our travel page. Both the pages are ready. Now what we want to do is, so I'll enter some destination, that's fine. What I want is that when I click on generate travel plan, I want to set some action, right? So it should navigate to the second page, for example. So what I can do here, we have 4 options. One is widget styling, rather we have 5. We have some actions which we can set. We can add backend query, we can do some animation on page load, and we can write some documentation as well. So for example, we can go to actions and we can add an action. So on tab, what I want to do, I want to navigate to travel page. So what this is the simple thing I can do, and then I can open this, you know, navigation flow and something like that. And then what also we can do, we can go to the storyboard and we can see that what is happening. Okay, what we have to do is, we also have to change our start page, right? What would be our start page? So I can go to the app setting, for example here, and then I can say initial page. I can set it to start page because this will be my entry page. And then if I go back here and if I go to storyboard, you can see that when I click on it, this opens this destination. Okay, let's do one thing before we proceed. Let's try to run our application as well. So I can do here, like I can go here, I can test run and publish. So I can test it for the time being. So let's do it, and it will take some time. Okay, so the testing session has started. It will take a while to load it, and every session remains for 30 minutes, I guess, or somewhere around that. So as you can see, it's expires in 26 minutes. So let's just wait to get it loaded. Also, you can run your application directly, or if you are a pro user, you can download the APK or source code as well. Okay, there was some issue, but right now we just want to see how it looks. So we have enter destination. We can select some, you know, date from here. It should automatically fill this start date, which it is not doing right now. And then it should also fill the end date, which again it is not doing right now. And then you can specify your budget, let's say 1000. You can select all the kind of things you can do, or you want to do. You can add like more things to this, right? And then we can just click on generate travel plan, and it should create this travel plan for me, or which is very much similar. Okay, So this all looks fine, but the main point is that this is just a test and we have to still do a lot of work, right? So let's go back to that and let's finish our work, remaining work. Okay, so the first problem which we are facing is that if we go here, that when we select a new date here, right, it should ideally set the start date. So how we can do that? So what I'm gonna do, I will go to the actions over here and I will add an action, and here we have on date selected, right? And what I want to do, I want to do a widget UI interaction, oh sorry, state management, and I want to set a form field, right? So I'll do that, and I want to set the start day. Okay, so basically when you click here, it should set this start day, right? And the value which I want to do is I can check the page state, widget state, and then there is a calendar selected day one. I will select this, and from here I'll select start, and I can say date time format. I want this format, and the format I'm gonna choose is, let's say, this one, October 27 2023, and I'll confirm it. Okay, so this will set whenever I'll like click any date from here, it will set it here as well, right? And then this, for the second one also we will do the same thing. We will add an action and we will say state management, set form field, and then end date and the value, and we can say calendar selected date 2, let's say start, and then date time format, and then we can select this format again, which is again pretty cool. Okay, now we can also specify some initial date if we want, right? If you see initial date, we can specify from here. Like you can just go here and you can just select something from here, right? But for now, let it be like whatever is the current date, that is totally fine. And then we have done this thing. This is totally fine. Now, when I am doing this, like when I'm clicking on all this information, then when I click on generate travel plan, rather than directly going to that thing, right, where I just go to this travel page, I want to like collect all this information somewhere, right? And then based on that, I want to send it to the next page, right? For example, let's go to travel page. Okay, we need all this information, right? So we can have some page parameters also set. So we can define some parameter. For example, we need destination. So I'll get this destination. This will be of type string, and then I'll add it, right? Similarly, we can have more parameters. We can have, let's say, start date. Okay, and again this will be string, and then we will have end date. Again this will be, or not a list but a string, and then the last one, or let's say budget, and then we can add it, and the last one would be the plan, right? Plan is something, plan info, or maybe what we should call it, let's say travel data. Okay, something like that, which we are not going to show on UI, but it will go to the or this will be the travel data which we will show here. Okay, travel plan we can also call it, so let's call it travel plan rather, and this will be the string. Okay, one more thing is, okay, what, okay, budget is string as well. Okay, all of these are mostly string, so that's fine, we can confirm it. So we have basically 5 parameters. One is destination, start date, end date, budget, and travel plan. This looks perfectly fine. If I go back to my another page, which is start page, so now this thing is actually gonna like say that passing parameter is not working, right? So we will have to pass this parameter. How we will do that? So when we are saying navigate to travel page, then it is asking for whether you want back navigation. Yes, I want. And then if you have any parameters, so pass and define, right? So we will pass. So destination we can pass, start date we can pass, end date we can pass, budget and travel plan, right? So when we click on destination, the value which we want to pass is actually from widget state, which is destination, right? So I'll just select it here. So start date, again we can select. So we can just say widget state and start date. Okay, start day. Okay, this is also fine. And date, this is again we can get from here. Okay, and this is the end date. And for the budget, the same thing we are gonna do, and we have budget. Okay, this travel plan is, however, we don't have as of now, so we will do that as well. So let's select start page. Okay, we can have a page parameter. So here we can have local page state variables, right? So we have already one light mode. We can have one more. We can just say, let's say travel details. Okay, let's say it's a string. What I will do is, I'll probably say that when all this information is there, or I can name it, let's say travel prompt, because that makes more sense. So travel prompt is basically, it will create the prompt for me, which I can pass to the API, which will give me the data back, and that data I can set to my new widget, right? And that new widget then I can use. So one is travel prompt, and another one which I want for travel page is travel plan, right? So that plan will be given by this, like I can have another field for it, let's say travel plan. Okay, and then it will be a string as well. Okay, so these are the two things which will we have local page state variables, okay, which we will set. So now coming back to generate travel plan, once you click on it, so if we go back to action, what I want to do, I want to use my information in such a way that let's open action flow editor, and let's click on plus and add action. So what I want to do, I want to say, let's say update page state, and here I want to set some field, for example travel prompt. Okay, so I'll set the travel prompt and I'll set the value, and I will set the value based on some combined text. Like I'll take the text from all the fields and I'll combine it. For example, what kind of prompt we want to write, right? That's the first question we should ask. So I'll tell you the prompt. So I can just say that the text one would be generate a travel itinerary, generate a travel itinerary for a trip, okay, to, and then I'll provide some space, and for the next text I will select destination. So basically now I'm saying that generate a travel itinerary for a trip to destination from, okay, space from space, and then we can specify the start date and end date. So I'll again select some text from widget state, and let's say I'll say start date, okay, then space 2, and then add text, and then I can say and date and date. Okay, so these are my two texts, and then I can just add a dot, and then I will say that the traveler has a budget of, let's say we add some dollar, okay, of dollar, and we can add text, and here we can choose budget, right? So budget, okay, so dollar this, and then we can give a space, and is interested in, okay, and then what we have to do, we have to bring all the value of interest. So it's a list of strings, so that's very difficult to get. So how we will get it? So what I'm gonna do is, I will just say that I want to get this interested in thing, but for that we will write a custom function. So let's say we will say a create a new function, and here we can say it will return a string because we want a string. And then what we want is, we want basically to return, let's do one thing, we will add some parameter argument. Okay, so I'll just say that it will have some data. Okay, and what we want to do is it will be a list of data, okay, list of string. So what I want to do is, I will use this data and dot, and I will just say join. Okay, and I think we can use it this way, join. I think join should be like this, and then we can just say data dot join dot to string. Yeah, so what I'm doing is, we will join all this data using a comma, right? And maybe we can also specify a space, right? Something like this. And then this function name we can change. So we can name it maybe get string from list. So this is how you write custom function, okay, from list. So this makes a lot of sense, right? And then we can save this function, and if there will be any issue, it will tell us. So the list of string, again we can fetch from this interests, right? And we can confirm it. So this is very well. So and is interested in, and we have already given some space and all these interests, and then we will have a dot again, and then we will say that ensure the itinerary includes a mix of, okay, mix of popular, let's say popular tourist attractions, yeah, attractions should be fine, I guess, attractions, comma, dining options, comma, options is fine, comma, and unique. So the main thing is writing prompt, by the way, local experiences. Okay, and then at the end we can write, please provide specific details, okay, for each day, and including recommended, using recommended activities, comma, locations, comma, and dining suggestions. Okay, so this is our entire prompt, for which we took some time to write it properly. Okay, so what is actually happening, it is a combined text, so it will combine all these texts to prepare a prompt for me. So I'll just confirm it. And now do you want to rebuild the current page? I don't think so. We don't want to rebuild it, but we just want to save it to this particular prompt. Okay, and then once we are done with this, okay, so let's see, we have two actions. One is update page state. So what I'm going to do is I'll move it to up. So basically first I'll update the page state, and then I would want to add another action, and that action is I want to do a API call. So I'll select backend/database and I'll say API call, right? And then for the API call, I can select group API, open API, and then we have an endpoint send full prompt, right? And then we can set some variables. For example, we can pass the API key, and then you can see the second parameter is basically the variable prompt. So we have to pass the prompt. So first of all, we will see what is this backend API, right? So what I'm gonna do is, okay, I'm gonna close it and so on. So API calls, we can see we have open AI chat GPT, and we have this send full prompt where we have this API call name, and it uses this https api.openai.com/v1/chat/completions. Then it is a post request. We can pass the body here. We have defined it, the model and the prompt. And then we have variables like API key and prompt, which is of type JSON. And then we have some advanced settings. I think we can also change it, right, if we want. Okay, and then we have, let's say we don't want to set proxy, we can save it. Okay, so we have all these things ready. Now let's go back and specify our action properly. So API key, okay, I have to specify the API key. So you have to go to your OpenAI account, and then you will have to generate your API key, and that API key you can paste here. So okay, so I got my API key here, and prompt, again, now I can use it, the page state variable, which is the travel prompt, right? And for some reason I'm not able to use it. It's a type of JSON, right? So we have to provide it as a JSON. So how we will do that? So I'll just say I want to use a custom function, and there I can just say convert to JSON, right? And I will added this function, and here what we want to do, I'll provide the prompt, and then I can just get this, and this should be an array. So I'll just change it a little bit, because the expectation should be the array, and I think this should be fine for me. Yeah, I'll save it. And here the value I can provide from page state, which is travel prompt, and that should do the job for me. And this is all what I need. So we have the prompt, we have the API key, and now we can close it. So now we have three actions. One is update page state. Now backend call would be there, right? And then we are navigating, but backend call is not about just getting backend call, right? We will just get some, let's say, chat response. Okay, so the variable output would be chat response. So I will just add condition, right? The condition will be dependent on, let's say, action output, which is chat response, right? And then API response, we can just say succeeded. If it is succeeded, then we will do something. If it is not succeeded, then we will do something, right? So for example, if it is succeeded, then what I can do is we can move this action, right? Or we can copy this action and we can paste this action here, and then we can remove this action, delete this action. Okay, so if it is true, we will do this. Otherwise, we can add another action, which we will say that we can go to alert notification and we can just say alert dialog, that maybe information dialog, where we can say title that something went wrong, and message we can provide, let's say, we were not able to generate the travel plan for you. Okay, right, so this looks nice, and then it will be okay. So yeah, what we have done is we have 4 actions. One is update page state, second is backend call, third is chat response, and then we have navigate to, and this one more thing which I want to add is when we get this response, right, we are not using that response to pass it to next field. So what I'm gonna do is I want to add a new action over here, and I'll pass it here, and this time I will say that I want to set some field. Okay, so update page state again, and this time what I want to do is I want to add a field travel plan, and I want to set the value, and this value I will get from action output, right, chat response. And this time I will use JSON body. JSON body is fine, I guess, and then JSON path, and then from here we can just get the content from here, right? And this should do the job for me. And now finally we can go back to our generate travel plan, and then our action number and one which has this travel plan which we haven't set yet, and then we can set it to page state travel plan, and this looks fine now. Okay, all right, too much work, right? This will be fun. And in the travel page again, we are using all these things, like we can change the text and destination, all those things from here. So for example, we can change the text as destination. Okay, let's do it. Parameter, yeah, this is fine. For this also we can change it. This time again we will use combined text, guys, because we want to add 2 things. One is start date, then we can just say space 2, and then we can just say end date. So this is fine. For our budget we can just directly say, again we can use a combined text where we can use a $sign on the top, and for the second one we can use the budget from here, and at the end we have this travel plan, which we can just say, let's say, okay, travel plan. Oh, this is looking cool. And then this entire thing, like this column, probably let's see what it is. So this is a row, this is a column, and then we have a column. So axis alignment, it is start only, but okay, this is fine. This looks fine, and then we want it to be scrollable. Okay, so not this way, I don't think so. In this way we want it to scrollable. What we can do is we can have this entire column, and we can wrap it list view. So we can select a list view from here. This will make things a little bit easier, right? And now we have one more error. Let's see what is that. It is saying that it wants to check this code. Okay, check the code. Now, okay, we have everything ready. We have the start page, we have the travel page, and let's run this application one more time to see how things are working now. So I'll do this. All right, so we have the project over here. We can change our theme and all. So let's stick with this. Okay, let's enter our first destination. So let's use it Kashmir. Okay, and then we can set the travel date, let's say from 28 or 28th October rather. I want to set it to, let's say, 5th of November, and we can see this our start date is also filled and our end date is also filled. We can add some text over here for start date and end date, right? And then budget, let's call it $1,000. And then what things you want to do? We want to do adventure, we want to do shopping, and we want to do nature, let's say. And let's do a generate travel plan. And once we do it, it takes some time. Let's see if it just gives us some response, some positive response, and let's wait. Or you can just inspect your network and see if the network calls are getting fine or not. We'll wait and let's see what happens. Okay, finally we can see that we have the output here, and we can see Kashmir October 18 to November 5, $1,000. And then we have the entire plan. So day one, arrive in Kashmir and check into a budget friendly hotel in Srinagar, explore the local markets in Srinagar for shopping, take a day trip to Gulmarg, and all these things, guys. Like, this is looking fantastic. I mean, I'm really loving it. And if we go to this way, we can explore it even further. And I mean, this is definitely not the best UI out there, but I mean, how fast it was to do it, right? This is the main thing. And then we can go back as well. And right now it's not working, but we can definitely fix a couple of things here. So, okay, let's do a couple of things, fixes. So for example, this icon button is not having any action, I guess. Yeah, so we can add an action, then on tap, navigate back, and this should be fine. And then again, let's take a look, one more look to this background image. For some example, for some reason it's not working. Opacity, okay, we can change the opacity, which 0.9 is fine, I guess. Yeah, 0.8, okay. And then what I want to do is I also want to provide some space from the bottom to this list view. So let's add some padding over here if possible. Yeah, 16 is fine, or maybe let's call it 32. Yeah, this is also fine. And then we can do a couple of more changes here, like this budget thing. We can just change the color of it, maybe. I mean, that will look much better in my opinion. So theme style is fine. What I want to change is some text color. So let's give it some reddish, maybe some greenish, or maybe this color, because we are using this color. And maybe we can add a couple of things extra than this. Also, the color is something which I'm not liking here of this as well. So let's say if this color is black. Yeah, this is looking much better. And then we can go back to start page. Which we forgot to add is, like, we have to specify that start date and end date, right? So let's add another text over here, which we can say travel, or maybe start date, right? So we can just say start date, and then we can add some padding from here. Let's say this is fine, I guess. And then we can also make it italic. What do you think? Yeah, I think this will be fine. Yeah, okay, this is fine. And enter the dates. I would rather want it to be like the primary text to be a little bit dull. Maybe this. Yeah, this is looking better. And then for this start date is fine. And then we can also set some initial date, right? So initial value also, I think I can get it from the widget state itself. Start, yeah, this is fine. And then for end date also, we can pick some initial value like day 2. Start. Cool. And then the start date, we can just duplicate it and we can push it here, and we can call it end date. Okay, this is looking fine. And then I want to add, yeah, this is perfectly fine now. And yeah, that's more or less what you have to do, guys. And then if you want, you can add more activities to it, right? So that's up to you. And now let's run it one more time, probably for the final time. All right, so we have the app ready again. So now what destination you would want to go? Let's say Rome this time, okay? And let's choose 29th as our date, and date as, let's say, maybe 12th. And budget we can increase a little bit, let's say 2000, because we are going international after all. And we can select adventure, shopping, cuisine, nature, okay, all of these things. Maybe not nature, Rome is more like adventure, shopping and cuisine. Okay, and based on all this information, I'll ask the AI genie to generate the travel plan for me. Let's click on it. Yay. All right, so here we go. We have the room. We could have like fetched the real image of this particular destination, and that could be the background, but that's an improvement we can do. Okay, so we have the plan ready for a lot of days. Okay, and we can just like we can just go and scan what all is there, right? So first day, you arrive at Rome Fiumicino airport, and then leisurely walk throughout the city, probably streets of Trastevere. Then day two, ancient Rome exploration, which is Colosseum and all, which is perfectly fine because I was in Rome some months ago, so I know. And then you can go to Vatican City and shopping, and then you can do adventure in Appian Way. So lot of good details, and I think this is the perfect application I could build in this time. So this was freaking easy. I can go back, and this is working fine as well. I can jump to different kind of screens. This is also pretty good. And yeah, this is looking perfectly fine, guys. I hope you enjoyed this thing, and this is freaking easy. Honestly, I was not expecting it to be this easier, but yeah, this works pretty well. You can definitely play with it. You can add and remove more items. Let me know in the comments what are your thoughts about this thing, and what do you feel? Do you want more of such things? And yeah, I mean, this was real fun.